Thanks for joining me today as we go through 5 things you should know about growing blueberry plants. Let's get right into it. So the first thing you'll want to focus on is blueberry roots. They are very fragile and will need specific soil to account for this. Most conventional blueberry farms use sandy or muck soils that have high macropores, allowing roots to easily grow through it. They're called muck because they are high in organic matter and they're not really useful for many other crops because they have that lower pH, and we'll get into that in the next slide. Gardeners can create a soil like this without actually putting like a sandy loam soil into their garden. They can just use peat moss and some good compost. Um, this is, of course, unless you have sandy loam soils, then you'll be perfectly fine. Blueberry roots mostly grow in the first top 18 inches of the soil. They focus in the 12 to 18-inch range. So here's number 2, acidic soils. Blueberries need a specific range requirement of 4.5 to 5.2 pH and a high amount of organic matter, as we talked about in the muck soils. You can decrease your pH in your soil by using sulfur. This is often the most case. There's organic sulfurs out there to do so, and blueberry plants require certain nutrients that they get at this pH level, as you can see in the top left, such as iron, copper, or manganese. There's higher levels at that lower 4.5 to 5 pH range. So without like these enough of these nutrients, though, your plants will develop or undergo chlorosis or yellowing of the leaves, which will decrease the plant growth and the yields. So looking at number 3, we have water. So blueberry plants need well-drained soils. That's why we're talking about the sandy loam. They can drain their water very well. That's why drip irrigation is used often to keep the soil wet, but it won't stay in there like forever like a clay soil. Drought intolerant because of that 18-inch range for their roots, because they can't get down low enough to that underground water to bring it back up to their roots. That's why drip irrigation is often used. Tip number 4 is nutrients. Focusing on pH is essential. As we discussed earlier, this can keep those phosphoruses, those borons, those lower pH needed nutrients for those blueberries. Also, incorporating sulfur, phosphorus, and organic matter should be done 3 months prior to planting your blueberry bushes, as it keeps those chemical reactions from damaging roots. This is especially important for phosphorus, not in damaging the roots, but more so for getting incorporated into the soil, as they cannot be incorporated after plants are. They can be, but it's not as easy. It might be easier for a gardener, but more conventional, yeah, you get it. So they also need those other 17 essential nutrients. All plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, the other, what, 14 that you have to add. Well, you only have to add 11 other ones then, because carbon, hydrogen, oxygen already there. You don't have to add those. This is not as big of a deal for gardeners that just have a few bushes. You will want few bushes for your garden. We'll go into that in another video. but different plants do better in specific climates. This is talking about varieties, low bush, high bush, and rabbit eye. I think that's the other one. So picking a place that is higher can actually prevent late and early frost, as we know warmer air stays higher and lower air goes down. So if you're on a hill, that can increase or decrease the chances of frost. So, and it helps. If you're on a hill, it helps drainage as well. So having a hill to plant on top of is an advantage, which slopes away that excess water, and that's that's the only thing about this last point. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.